Hi everyone, welcome back to this super awesome class I'm really excited about today. We'll be doing a Mark Stevens sequence number 10, and it's a fun one. For today you will probably need a block, you might even need two, just nice to have, or blankets, things that you can fold up and use as a block. Other than that, I think you might want a blanket as well, actually. Yeah. Other than that, just some enthusiasm. And let's just get right into it. I'll be doing a little bit of extra explaining in some of the poses today, really to get our poses more efficient, so our practice can be more efficient and we can get stronger and more flexible faster, because why not? Let's then get started in Sukhasana easy pose. So seated cross-legged. This is called easy pose, but not necessarily easy. If it's not, maybe sitting up on a folded blanket, but making it easy. So wherever you're at, finding a space that is comfortable for you. Lifting up nice and tall so that you don't have to grip. I know my alignment is often forward. I wonder, why am I holding on so tightly? But find that space where literally bone stacks on top of bone. Iyengar talks about that, one of the greatest yoga teachers ever. And when you have your vertebrae stacked one on top of the other, you can almost feel that sensation of floating. So lifting up nice and tall, wide across the shoulders, but not rigid, just floating. And then close the eyes. We'll take a few moments here just to get settled. This is one of my favorite parts of class, where I get to just pause my life and almost take a moment to tell yourself and tell your body we're about to do something really great for us, ourselves. I'm talking about myself as if I'm three people, but some days it feels like that. Okay, back to centering, closing the eyes. I'm not sure why I can't get things accomplished like I was three people. Right, we're still closing the eyes. You know what we should do here is find our intention. That'll get Carla's brain focused. See, this is why this is my favorite part of class, because I desperately need it. So thinking about our intention, why are we here? Why yoga? Why today? Why now? So you may wish to have more energy, more effective, efficient sleep at night. Whatever your ambition is, maybe it's just general overall strength, whatever it is, holding on to that thought for a moment. And slowly open the eyes. See, Carla's much calmer now. From here, let's just make our way up to the top of your mat. And we'll start in Tadasana mountain pose. So however you need to get up to standing. The one thing I should mention is we'll be doing some poses flat on our backs today. So if you have long hair, and a high ponytail is recommended. You can always switch it up later though. In our Tadasana, instead of just flying into the next posture, we'll take a moment here to find our alignment. And I have one little tip or trick for you, and I'll just show you sideways. What we're looking for is neutral pelvis. So what that means is we're not tucking it under too much, or what most of us tend to do, myself, like I do this a lot, is swaying the back. So one little thing I like to think about is tucking the tail under. Now, of course, we don't actually want to tuck the tailbone under, so this is why it's good to have a teacher and private lessons so you know your own anatomy. But I'm going to go ahead and just say most of us require that visual of scooping the tailbone under so that we become neutral, long in the waist, and at the same time, here's where it gets fun. We want to open up through the heart. But what tends to happen is we can think, okay, tuck the tailbone under, got it, so that I'm neutral pelvis, but we kind of tend to slouch then. And then we move up to the shoulders and think, wide open across the shoulders and the back arches. It's one of those things where we need to isolate our different body parts. So our pelvis remains neutral. So whether you can think neutral pelvis and it gets there, or maybe you need that added little visual of tucking slightly, and then keep that neutral pelvis as you open up. So it's not so much scooping under and then arching back. It's more of lengthening, really. So just ever so slightly thinking of tucking so that everything lifts, and then ever so slightly thinking opening, but more so lifting, okay? And then palms facing inward. One thing we tend to do just to try to open up our shoulders is open up our arms like this as well. But again, that can lead to opening up and arching through the back. So really, the actual traditional Tadasana pose, the palms are facing inward. So the arms are neutral as well. Okay, fingers even together. So now we're getting nitpicky into the actual authentic traditional pose. Here we are in our Tadasana, standing up nice and tall. Even before we start thinking about moving all the way up, thinking about the heels and toes together, because I'm not going to go into too much detail, but because reasons. It really will help your arch alignment, and that'll help your alignment all the way up. So just take a few moments in Tadasana and see if you can think and feel, what are your feet doing? Are your heels and toes together? Can you feel them? Or do you need to look down and go, oh, yeah, no, they're not quite all together. Can you feel your pelvis in neutral alignment? If you're not sure, take a peek down. Or sideways, like, am I arching the back? Oh yeah, a little bit. Tucking the tail. Am I wide across the collarbone? See if you can feel that. Fingers together, fingers reaching down towards the floor as the crown of the head lifts up to the sky. And breathing deep. We'll hold here for 5. 1. So our Tadasana, our mountain pose is active. 2. 3. 4. And 5. And release, shaking it out. From here, we'll head directly into our next posture. We'll get warmed up in a minute here. But first, we'll head into Vrikshasana tree pose. So transfer all the way onto your left foot and even take a peek down to ensure that your foot is straight. We don't want to start with that foot turned out or turned in, but parallel. Take your right foot, externally rotate the leg and place the foot against the lower leg, or if you want extra adventure, pick it up and place it on the upper leg. Just be sure not to go anywhere near the knee. So toes can't touch the knee, nothing touches the knee. From here, wide open across the collarbones, and also almost falling over as I'm about to talk about the pelvis. So we do tend to arch to the back, just like in mountain pose when we do tree pose. So just a little bit, thinking of lifting up through the low belly. So it's not even so much tucking the tail as lifting up through the front side of the body. And then we'll bring the hands to heart center. If your balance is really good here, raise the arms up. It's harder to balance if you're taller. And breathing deep. We'll hold here for 5. 1. 2. See if you can press down into the floor and feel everything else lift up. For 3. 4. And 5. I decided to do like jazz arms or something to come on out. Shaking or rolling out that supporting leg, and then we'll switch sides. Transferring all the way onto the right foot, double checking just like the first time that all of our weight is on that supporting foot and the foot's not turned out, not turned in, but parallel. Same thing again, do the same variation as you did the first side, so either below the knee or pick it up and place it above the knee. Double check the alignment of the pelvis once again. So either thinking of scooping that tailbone under, or if that makes you kind of tilt the pelvis too much, think of lifting up through the front of the belly. Bring the palms to heart center, holding on. If you're holding it nice and steady, raise the arms up. For 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And release back to mountain pose. Shaking or rolling out that supporting leg. And now we'll get moving. So from our mountain pose, inhale, raise the arms up. Exhale, gliding forward. Inhale for flat back. Exhale down. We'll send the right foot back. Gently lower the knee, untuck the toes, and sweep the arms up for Anjaneyasana. Low lunge pose. We're not here long, just enough to feel that nice stretch. Send the hands down. Tuck those back toes under. Front foot steps back to plank. Heading into Ashtanga Pranam. That's our little inchworm posture. So knees, chest, chin, arching the back. Scoop it through. Little cobra, pointing the toes so you keep no hands. And release. Pressing up and back to downward facing dog, where we're not here long. Right foot steps forward. Back knee lowers. Untuck those toes, arms sweep. We're not here too long, just enough to feel a nice stretch. Heading down through lunge. This time back foot steps forward into flat back. And forward fold. Going all the way up, reaching up high. And return to mountain. One more on the other side. Inhale, arms go up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, left foot steps back. Arms sweep for low lunge. Plant those hands. Step it back to plank. We lower knees, chest, chin, arching the back. Scoop it through, peeling the chest, shoulders back and down. And release. Pressing up and back to a downward dog. Left foot steps forward. Back knee lowers, sweep the arms for your low lunge. Heading down. Plant the hands, back foot steps forward all the way into flat back. And forward fold. All the way up. And return to mountain. Once more, both sides. Inhale, arms go up. Exhale, down. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, right foot steps back and lowers. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands plant. Inhale to plank. Exhale, knees, chest, chin. Inhale for a little cobra. And exhale, downward dog. Inhale, right foot steps forward, back knee lowers, arms sweep up. Exhale, hands down. Inhale, back foot steps forward all the way to flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way up. Exhale to a tall mountain. Other side. Inhale, arms float up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to flat back. Exhale, left foot steps back. Inhale, arms float up. Exhale, flat the hands. Inhale to plank. Exhale, knees, chest, chin. Inhale, scoop through to a little back bend. Exhale, release, and downward facing dog. Left foot steps forward on an inhale, back knee lowers, arms sweep up. Exhale, hands down. Inhale, back foot steps all the way forward into flat back. Exhale, down. Inhale all the way up. And exhale to mountain. From here, we'll flow right into a sun A. Inhale, arms go up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, down, heading back to plank and lowering chaturanga. Inhale for cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Slowing down the breathing, 5 deep breaths here. Take a peek at your feet. You want them parallel. Allow the belly to scoop in. Some weight into the roots of the fingers so we're not dumping into the heels of the hands. Shoulders away from the ears. It's already 4. 5. Send the feet forward, all the way into flat back. And exhale down. Inhale all the way up. And exhale to a tall mountain. And again, inhale, arms go up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale for flat back. Exhale down, back to plank. And lower chaturanga. Inhale up. And exhale, downward facing dog. From here, we'll take a 3-legged down dog. Right leg lifts up high to the sky. Just take a moment here. Feel the length in the back of that supporting leg. Top leg reaching to the sky. And then step that right foot forward. And we'll prepare for Chandrasana crescent pose. So the back heel stays up. Sweep the arms up. From here, straighten the front leg. Let's bring the hands to the hips just for a moment. We're trying to target the right glute to work. So squeeze your butt cheeks. And then just to be sure that those glutes are activated, bend back into Chandrasana. What happens is the quads like to take over everything. Don't let them. You can use Pada Bandha by lifting up the toes, press down into that heel just to make sure that the glutes are working, both of them. Let's just do a couple more. Inhale to straighten. Exhale to bend, feeling the glutes working, not the quads. Inhale to straighten. Exhale to bend. 2 more. Inhale to straighten. Exhale to bend. Last one. Inhale to straighten. Exhale to bend. Hold here. So back to your Chandrasana. Use the glutes, glutes, glutes. Hold it. Breathing deep. Almost done. Use the glutes, 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 glutes. And float the hands down through lunge. Step it back to plank. Lower chaturanga. Inhale up. And exhale. Downward facing dog. Other side. So we'll complete the sun salutation by sending the feet forward into flat back and forward fold. Inhale all the way up. And exhale to a tall mountain. Other side, starting with 1.5 sun salutation A's. Inhale, arms go up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, down, back to plank. And lower. Inhale up. Exhale, downward facing dog. 5 deep breaths. For 1, remembering all your alignment checks, so take a peek at your feet. Parallel. Try not to dump into the wrists. Get some weight forward into the palms. Shoulders away from the ears. And allow the belly to scoop in. We don't have to pull it in. It naturally scoops in if you just let it. That's 4. 5. Send the feet forward into flat back and forward fold. Inhale all the way up, reaching up high. And exhale to a tall mountain. Again, arms go up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale down, back to plank. And lower. Inhale up. And exhale, downward facing dog. From here, we'll take a 3-legged down dog, other side. So left leg goes up. Allow that right heel to lower down as the left leg lengthens to the sky. And left foot steps forward. Back heel stays up for Ashta Chandrasana. Come on up. From here, we'll bring the hands to the waist. Straighten through that front leg. For me, it always takes a little bit. Get my glutes working, my quads try to take over. They're like, I got it. But we don't want that. No quads, no. Bending again. Pada Bandha, so lift those front toes. Press down into that front heel just to get the glutes activated, get it working. And again, straightening and bend. Number 3, straighten and bend. I can feel my back arching. Straighten, try to tuck the tail a little bit just to get neutral, and bend. Straighten and bend. Let's hold here. Use the glutes, use the glutes, use the glutes. Breathing deep, long through the waist. Almost done. Hold, 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 hold. And float the hands down through lunge, stepping it back to plank. Whew, and lower, chaturanga. Inhaling up. And exhale, downward facing dog. Same alignment checks. So take a peek at those feet. Getting some weight into the roots of the fingers. Shoulders away from the ears. And scooping the belly in. And send the feet forward. Into flat back. And forward fold. Inhale all the way up, reaching up high. And release to a tall mountain. From here, a fun pose. It's called Parivrita Hasta Padangusthasana, which means revolved hand to big toe pose. To get into this fun one, transfer all the weight to your left foot. So pick up your right knee. Right hand to the hip, left hand to the outside of the raised foot. Okay? From here, be sure to keep all the weight onto that supporting leg. So we don't want to reach the weight forward or we'll fall over. Then straighten that leg as much as it wants to. It might not be all the way. And then open up the right arm behind you for 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll reverse course back to mountain. And other side. If you're like, I didn't catch any of that, that's fine. Just do your best on the other side. It's a harder posture than it looks. I always watched that pose before I did it and thought, it looks so pretty. And then I went to try it and it didn't feel pretty. It still doesn't feel pretty. Other side. So transferring the weight onto the right foot. Left knee lifts up. Right hand to the outside of that front foot. Be sure all the weight's, well, I think about having my weight back a little bit. So we don't, of course, want to fall back, but enough that you're not going to fall forward. Straightening up, opening up. For 2, 3, 4, and 5. Slowly, slowly. That is a good stretch though. Releasing back to mountain. From here, we'll step the feet apart, about one leg's length apart. Now, not like how long you wish one leg was, but like an actual leg's length. Right, fine. Here we go. So hands to the hips. Feet are parallel for this one. Prasarita Padottanasana A position. I'll walk you through it. Hands to the hips. Inhale, lifting through the heart. Exhale, forward fold. So just like we do in our sun salutations all the time. This time we'll release the hands down to the floor or a block. And if your hands do reach the floor, then we'll bring the palms all the way to the floor, if that works. And the hands can actually press against the floor as you help the head reach towards the floor one fine day. Now, this pose has a lot to do with body proportions as well. If you have long legs and a short body, this one seems impossible. If your proportions are vice versa, it's a little easier. Breathing deep. So not everything is about being flexible. From here, slow, slow, slow. Straightening through the arms, looking up to the horizon, and holding here in kind of a flat back position. I like to take a few breaths here. And then hands to the waist. Inhale all the way up. Hello. And we'll repeat that one in the C position. The only difference between A, B, C, and D is the arms. So in C position, we interlace the fingers behind the back. So it looks like this, but behind the back. And then straightening through the arms as much as they'll allow. If that's not all the way, totally fine. And then we inhale to lengthen. On the exhale, forward fold, same thing again. Just like our sun salutations, forward fold, and allow the arms to move away from the back as much as they'll allow today. From here, stay in your forward fold, but release the arms back to that A position. And then straighten through the arms for flat back. From here, we'll move into Utthita Trikonasana triangle pose. So for this one, turn the right foot out to the side and move the body over to the right. From here, this is just a nice stretch. This is a nice way to enter this posture. Mark Stevens recommends it in his sequencing book. This just feels nice just to hang out here. This is not a thing. This is not a pose, but on our way towards triangle, this is nice. That's why I'm procrastinating. So bring your right hand onto your right leg. We want a little bit of weight into that hand, which is why it's important to avoid the knee area. So below the knee or above the knee, a little bit of weight. And then take a peek down at your supporting leg there. And if your nose isn't directly above it, bring it back in line. Other arm goes up. And breathing deep. So a few deep breaths here. Eventually, we can bring the hand to the outside of that front foot. Holding on. If it's okay on the neck, the gaze looks up. To come out, belly scoops in, coming all the way up. And from here, point the toes forward. We'll head back into our forward fold. Inhale, lifting through the heart. Forward fold, hands to the floor. Heading into our other side, Trikonasana. So left toes move out. And we just kind of do that nice and slow and gooey, kind of almost like you're procrastinating, taking that little stretch there. And then the left hand goes to the left leg, either above the knee or below the knee. And then opening up that top arm to the sky. Eventually, the hand goes on the outside of that leg. If your neck feels great today, looking up at the thumb. And to come out, belly scoops in, coming all the way up. We'll repeat triangle pose, this time from a standing position. So flip-de-flip, right toes out, left toes in just slightly, and arms up into a T. This time reaching like you're reaching along a shelf. I'm going to try to touch that wall. And when you can reach no further, then the hand goes down to your leg or the floor. Breathing deep. This is such a wonderful stretch. Scooping the belly in. And belly scoops in to come on all the way up. We flip-de-flip to the other side. And reaching. Long, straight spine, all the way into triangle. Breathing deep. Just a few deep breaths here. And belly scoops in to come on all the way up. And from here, we flip-de-flip, preparing for Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. So from here, I have little space here. I'm going to shift over to this way on my mat with the right toes pointing forward, heading into like a baby warrior 2, like a little, not too wide. From here, we transfer the weight onto that right leg. Boom. Okay, so right leg stays straight as a poker, as Iyengar says. And then we shift the balance more and more until that other leg lifts right up off the floor. This might be your complete Ardha Chandrasana today. We tip only as much as feels comfortable, so maybe that's just a little bit. Eventually, the fingertips reach the floor, but we don't want to like crash land. That would not be good. Go slow, go slow, go slow, go slow. This also builds strength when you move slowly. And once you arrive, try not to have too much weight on those fingertips. They're just there to help you balance. Top arm reaching for the sky, shoulders away from the ears, and reaching and lengthening that top leg to come out. Slowly, slowly. Move slowly. And it should feel like that supporting leg is on fire, like in a good way. And then we switch sides. So I'm going to shift back on my mat this way due to limited space in my tiny little yoga area. So heading into a little baby warrior 2 with the left leg bent. And then shifting the weight onto that left leg completely. Boom, like so. Take as much time as you need to shift the weight completely. I've still got a little bit of weight on those back toes. And once I have all the weight on that front foot, then I start to do a little teeter-totter, moving slowly, 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 slowly. Once the fingertips do reach the floor, if they do, try not to have any weight on those fingertips. Just there to help the balance. That's already 3. And coming all the way up. And release. We get to make our way all the way to the floor now, but we'll vinyasa to get there because it's funner. So starting up at the top of your mat into Tadasana Mountain Pose. Inhale, raise those arms up. Exhale, gliding forward. Inhale for a flat back. Exhale down, heading back to a strong plank. And lowering chaturanga. Inhaling up. And exhale. Child's pose. Balasana. So toes together, big toes together, knees either together, or a little bit apart if that feels better. Forehead to the floor or block. Arms either along your sides, palms facing up, or forward, whatever feels better. Softening and melting. And just relax here. This is the part of the class where if we were live and in person, and if your flip chip indicated that you were so interested, I would maybe walk around and do a little child's pose hands-on adjustment, which feels nice. The purpose of the hands-on adjustment for child's pose is to help you soften and melt into the hips even more. So since I'm not there with you, thinking visually about softening. And there's always a second reason for that specific adjustment, and it's just for it's like a high five a little bit. It's just for you. So whatever you think that you would like at this point in your class, let's just do that virtually. I'm there beside you, giving you a high five, or like maybe it's a comfort adjustment in that child's pose, or maybe it's like a fist bump. So I can't even say it. So I'm not cool. It probably wouldn't be that at all. It'd be more like a high five or a child's pose adjustment. And now that we've been there a little bit, feeling a little bit refreshed, from here we'll head up through hands and knees and up and back to a downward facing dog. Then gliding forward to plank, lowering all the way onto your belly, heading into Shalabhasana. So for this one, legs are behind you, feet are together, and toes are pointed. We start out in kind of like a little baby cobra. So we peel the shoulders off the floor, squeeze the legs together so much that the legs float off the floor. So the knees don't bend, but it's just because they're squeezing together so much. Arms along your sides, palms facing up, but the arms are active. The hands are not on the floor. Shoulders are together and down the back. Breathing. This should be hard, like really challenging. If it's not, squeeze more. And release. Palms stack, one cheek on stacked hands, relax. We get to do that again. But not before we relax completely. All right. Okay, here we go. Again. And point the toes, squeeze the glutes, arms along your sides. And it's like your fingertips are reaching towards your toes. Breathing deep. A little bit more. Squeeze those shoulder blades together even more. Shoulders down, 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 away from the ears. Fingertips reach for the toes. Straight legs. Squeeze them together. And release. Other cheek to your hand. Last time. Ready? So legs squeeze together. Toes are pointed. Peel the chest off the floor. Fingertips reach for those toes. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Go, go, go. Holding. Breathing. So you can go a little bit more. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And release. That's probably the pose that's the most deceiving. It looks so easy, and yet it's really not. From here, we'll head up and back to the downward facing dog. And from here, we'll lower through hands and knees and all the way to the floor. So you just kind of shift over, lay back, and heading into bridge pose, Setu Bandha Sarvangasana. So from here, the feet are just slightly wider than hips width apart, arms along your sides, palms facing down. Feet are parallel. And we lift the hips up, looking straight up to the sky. Breathing deep. If you'd like to go a bit further, feel free to interlace the fingers beneath you and gently tuck the shoulders beneath you. And that should allow your hips to rise a little bit higher. Attempting to create as much space between yourself and the floor as possible. And to come out, release the arms and slowly release the hips down. And we'll hug the knees in, Apanasana, knees to chest pose. And from here, we'll head into Supta Parivartanasana, which is a one-legged twist. So we'll extend the left leg down to the ground, hug your right knee in. From here, we'll do a little bit of a lift and scooch for the hips. I like to actually bend my supporting leg, place the foot on the floor to help lift the hips up and shift them to the right, and then extend the leg back again. Keep the supporting shoulder on the floor, the right shoulder on the floor, palm facing down, arms outstretched. If you'd like to go a little bit further into this twist, cross the legs completely and we're in twisted roots. Arms in a T, palms facing down. If it's okay on your neck, looking over those right fingertips and closing the eyes. Once again, just be sure both shoulders are securely on the floor. Sometimes when I'm doing this position in a yin style class, I'll actually, in my home practice, place a sandbag on this shoulder to help keep it down. What this does, by keeping the shoulder on the floor, it ensures that it's the exact right location of the back that's twisting. If that shoulder pops up, what happens is the twist goes directly to the low back, and we don't want that. It's okay for the low back to move, of course, but when we put all that pressure directly on the low back, you can come at a yoga class with some pain, and we don't want that at all. We want to prevent that and change our body's habits to move and become freer in the correct position, which is the mid-back. To come out, instead of thinking knees go up, think belly scoops in and the low back presses down. And that again supports the low back. Unraveling, unwinding. squaring everything up, and then we'll hug the knees in between sides here, just to lengthen the spine again. And heading into the other side. So we hug the left knee in this time. We do the lift and scooch to the left. As the knee moves over to the right, you can either extend that supporting leg down, or if you did twisted roots, then crossing that leg over, arms in a T, be sure that left shoulder stays down. If it's okay on the neck, just like the first side, looking over the left fingertips, and then close the eyes. Scooping the belly in, press the low back into the floor, unraveling, unwinding. And then hug your knees into your chest to square everything up. And release the legs, feet to the floor. Gently roll over to the right side. We're going to make our way up, but we're going to do so slowly because we can. It's really nice on the body, on the circulatory system, to rest for a moment on your side before pressing yourself up. All right, here we go. Pressing all the way up. And we'll prepare here for Virasana Hero Pose. So this is where you might need a block or two. For this pose, the knees are together, the feet are apart, and then we sit back between the heels. So unless your knees are very flexible, sit on a block or two. This is very important for the knees to feel no pain at all. They have to feel completely fine because we're here for a little bit. Not too long, about a minute. Now, if you're here and you think, well, my knees don't hurt at all, but they do feel like they're stretching, that's totally okay. So what we are trying to do is keep that suppleness of the knees that kids and teens have, but we lose that basically every year after 18. It's just a little bit more tightness that our bodies experience, and it's fine because we have yoga to help keep and maintain the elasticity that we had when we were 18. Lengthening through the spine in this one. You might feel it actually more in the ankles than the knees. This is a great multitasker. And to come out, we'll head all the way up and back to a downward facing dog. So forward through hands and knees. Take your time if you need to. Hips go up and back. From here, we'll lower to seated, so through hands and knees, all the way to seated position. And we'll prepare for Ardha Matsyendrasana, half Lord of the Fishes pose. It's a nice twist. You may need your block again for this one. If your hips are very flexible, don't worry about the block. But if your hips are tight at all, please sit up on a block right now. So up on a block. And then bring the feet forward. From here, we'll take your left foot and put it underneath the right leg as though the right leg is a bridge and the left foot's moving under. Left toes wind up pointed and near the right hip. We want the knee facing completely forward, so not way over here, but right directly straight forward. You may even start to feel that stretch right in through the hip. Then take the other foot and place it over top. so that the foot's on the floor. It's going to want to flop out to the side, but we want to keep the top knee right above the bottom. So you'll feel the stretch in both hips in a similar spot, but they're doing two completely different things. The bottom leg is externally rotating while the top leg is internally rotating. Take both hands to the top knee and lift up tall. If this is extremely uncomfortable for you or you're not able to get the foot over top, place another block beneath the hips. And lifting up tall. From here, we add a twist. So right hand behind you, left arm crosses over, lifting up tall once again. Every inhale lengthening, every exhale opening up even more. That's 2, 3, 4, and 5. When we're inhale to lengthen, on the exhale, unravel and unwind, and other side. So we bring both feet forward, and this time right foot beneath the left, like it's going under a bridge, and we want the knee right in front of the pelvis, basically, the pubic bone, so central axis of the body. And then lifting up tall, other foot crosses over, don't let it sag out to the side, lifting up tall. Take a moment before we add the twist. I really do, even though I've done this pose like 1,000 times, I still like to break it down. Why not? Just get the pose in really good healthy alignment, lifting up tall, and then when you feel ready, when your body allows, cross the right arm over, other arm behind you to stabilize. Every inhale lengthens, every exhale opening up a little bit more. For 2, 3, 4, and 5. One more inhale to lengthen. Exhale, unraveling and unwinding. Bring the feet forward and we'll prepare for a Dandasana staff pose. So for this one, feet are forward and hands are beside you. Let's point the toes. So legs are straight and active, reaching the palms down to the floor, lifting up tall, and we'll just tuck the chin for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You're doing it right, and at the end you kind of go, preparing for a Halasana plow pose. Now this one can be a little bit tricky. If you're newer to yoga and you don't want to do this one without a teacher with you, and by a teacher, I mean an experienced, highly qualified teacher, then just skip it. If you do wish to go into Halasana, you kind of know what you're doing, but you need a little bit extra assistance, I recommend a folded blanket. Be sure it's folded evenly beneath the shoulders, but not the head. So that way the head will be sitting a little bit lower on the floor than the shoulders are. It'll help you out, okay? Remember, you can have your feet on a chair behind you, or a block, or even pressing up against a wall if your toes don't quite reach the floor, okay? Just use caution. Do not use momentum. Listen to your body. Here we go. Laying all the way back. And when you're ready, be sure not to move the neck. So keep the neck neutral, looking up to the sky, and then feet go up. You can catch the hips. And the toes reach the floor. Hanging out here for a little bit. From here, we'll prepare for Salamasana. You don't need to look at me. From here, place the hands on the back
as high up on the back, which is kind of as close to the floor as you can go, while still maintaining a nice gentle stretch in the back. One leg goes up, other leg goes up, and hold. From here, heading back down through Halasana and into Karnapidasana, we bend the knees. And the knees reach towards the floor. 2 deep breaths. To come out, we'll head back through Halasana. Use your arms as landing gears, so arms away from the legs but on the floor. So fingers are pointing to the opposite wall as the toes. And then arms press down into the floor, pull the belly in. One vertebra at a time, unfold, unravel, one. And then another, and then another, and then another. Once you make it all the way to the floor, bend the knees. So knees either stay into the chest or feet to the floor, whatever feels best. Take a moment. Your back might feel just weird right now, and that's normal. From here, we're going to head directly into Shavasana. So you may feel like you need to do other movements, but we've already done all of the movements that are healthy for your body. This is a great place to just stay. So either keep the knees bent with the feet on the floor, feet step way out to the sides of the mat, and then allow the knees to tip inward. I recommend this position for Shavasana after such a fabulous stretch like Halasana. If your back feels totally fine though, you can extend the legs down to regular Shavasana. I don't know if I have enough room to do that here. Here we go. And close the eyes. So this is where we get to rest, and this is why yoga is the best exercise program ever. Softening everything. But especially through the neck and the shoulders and all the way down the arms. Letting the fingers softly curl. Softening through the face. Softening around the eyes. And even the muscle between the eyes. Just let it all go. And starting to come back. Wiggle the fingers and the toes. And gently roll your head from side to side. And reaching your arms above head on the floor, give yourself a big stretch, feeling totally refreshed. And bending your knees in one at a time. And gently roll over to the right side, pausing for a moment as you come back.
And then slowly start to press yourself all the way up to a comfortable seated position. Take all the time you need. And when you arrive, palms facing up on the knees, inhale, sitting up tall. And exhale, softly close the eyes. Taking those final moments to think back to the intention that you set at the beginning of class today. So many benefits to yoga and you picked one of them. Remembering that intention, knowing you're just a few steps closer to that goal. And slowly open the eyes. Thank you so much for joining me today, and an extra thank you to Mark Stevens for providing the sequence today. Until next time, namaste. Have a really good rest of your day.